What's up, my people? Before we start the show, make sure you like the video, comment on the commentary, and subscribe to the channel. Become a part of the GVG family, because without you, there's no us. And as always, we thank you, and all praises to the Most High. Now let's get into it.
What up, everybody? It's your boy Hally back again, GVG Podcast, Detroit representative to the day that I die, east side in the building and all that good stuff. What up, though? Hope everybody doing good. Hope this finds you blessed. You know what it is. It's GVG, God versus gods, the creator versus all of these deities and gods that we worship instead of him, that we put in the place of him. We gonna jump right into it. I just want to discuss this real quick. We read out of Deuteronomy 28. This is what a lot of my brothers feel is the reason why we are the chosen people. Disagree, agree, give me some proof that it is or proof that it ain't. That's all I'm saying. Shout out to Dwayne and Nicole. That who the L are you? That's a real good one. You know, they're diving into some things, and I'm trying to get like that for real. So we're going to go to Deuteronomy 28. We're going to start at verse 64. I'm going to read this, and then I'm going to let you know what the deal is. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, but the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart, and failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life. In the morning thou shalt say, would God it were evening. And at evening thou shalt say, would God it for morning. For the fear of thine heart wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Okay. This is one of the main passages that the African Americans believe we are the chosen people. This is one of the main passages for this chosen people argument. So I'm going to break a few of these things down. You can agree, you can disagree. I'm still going to love you. I'm still going to pray for you, because this is how we do. It's all about love, compassion, and truth around here. This is GVG. No hate allowed. We just trying to get to the truth together. So the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from one end of the earth even unto the other. So the argument that my Israelite brothers will make is we were scattered on, like, there's no place that you can go where you won't find us. Thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. This is a tricky one, because this is not just an Israelite thing. This is a truth thing. Some people believe that the gods that we serve in America, or the New Egypt, as people would say, they are not the gods that our fathers knew, or the gods that our fathers served. So it says, and there you will serve other gods. So everywhere you've been scattered, you're not in a position of power. You're not in a position of having the numbers. You're in a position of being somewhere that is not your home. So therefore, your values that are instilled in your home are not in these other places. Therefore, you live by their values. So if you move to someone else's home, you live by their rules, you live by their law, and yet your own becomes a memory, a distant memory, which neither nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. Some people will say that cobblestone, Islam, the Catholic Church, some people will say wood is the cross Christianity. I'm not saying that this is right or wrong. I'm saying that this is what some people argue. This is what some theologians believe. This is what some historians believe. This is what this is a philosophical debate, and this is what some of the people in the Israelite bloodline believe. That you will go into these other places and you will start to worship their gods and forget your own. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease. So that means wherever you go, people are going to mess with you. There's going to be racism. There's going to be hurt and pain, and all these things are going to follow you. There's no ease. There's no rest. Every time someone sees your face, they're clenching their purse. They're looking at you crazy. They believe you committed every crime. You have no ease. You have no ease or no peace in your soul. Neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, meaning you are never in a place that feels like home. When you step your feet into your house, it's automatically a place of rest in your soul. Even if you have to do things, you do it with the comfort of knowing this is mine. So you don't have rest in the sole of thy foot. You can talk about it physically as runaway slaves. You can talk about it physically as never being able to find the footing when it comes to buying homes, when it comes to just land and all of those things, period. 40 acres and a mule, if you want to say, which people still out here crying for reparations. Come on. But what I'm saying is you spiritually will never have the rest of someone who is at home. But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind. This is the older people. They have a trembling heart and failing of eyes. They have anxiety like you have never seen. The news makes them scared of everything. There's so many things that they are scared about. There are so many things that they are in fear about. And it's always a sorrow of mind, meaning they don't feel like they deserve anything. They don't deserve better. They feel like this is just their life. They don't really understand that you can do better. You can be better. This is not your life. Anxiety will not rule your life. Depression will not rule your life. But we live in the place where we think that this is what it is. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee. And thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life. Some will say, when a black man gets pulled over, he doesn't have any assurance of his life. He doesn't know what's going to happen. When a black man is at a store and someone says he stole something, whether he did or not, he's guilty. When you go in front of those 12 jurors, they're automatically going to say you're guilty. Your life shall hang in doubt. There are so many examples that I can say this on, but we're going to keep it short. In the morning, thou shalt say, would God it were evening. And at evening thou shalt say, would God it were morning. You are thankful to make it through the day, and even more thankful to make it through the night. For the fear of thine heart, wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes which thou see. Going back to the news. How many people scared to walk out their door? because they like, oh, they doing this, they doing that. This happening, that's happening. But a lot of us, if you never watch the news, you don't get that fear instilled in you. See, if you trust in the Creator, if you trust in the things that are supposed to happen, then that's less trust in fear. That's less trust in anxiety. That's less trust in, oh, somebody gonna steal my car, somebody gonna rob me, somebody gonna shoot me, somebody gonna take my shoes, somebody gonna hurt my son. You living in a constant place of fear of all of what could happen, what might happen. You're not thinking that ain't happened yet. I'm still alive. I'm still kicking. I'm still going. So the media has done its job in instilling fear in our heart, in our eyes, and letting us hear all of these things. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. I'm going to read the rest, but I'm going to start there. African Americans, the Israelite brothers, they will say, who else was brought into Egypt again with ships? Now, most people will say, y'all not in Egypt again, y'all in America. But then you have those deep divers who will say, those mental people, the people that are deep within their mental and in their studying, they will say America is the new Egypt. America is the new Pharaoh. So the Lord will bring thee into Egypt again with ships. They're saying we are the only people who were brought to America, aka Egypt, in ships. Nobody else, not the Jewish people that they speak of. No one else was brought here in ships. Now, if you ask immigrants, they'll tell you we were brought here by ships too. Yeah. So, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Now, this is where they get you at. Israelite brother or black man or Hebrew or whoever it is gonna say, well, who else was sold unto their enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you? Who else was in slavery? And who else is still entrapped in that bondage? Hey, it's actually a good point. Because some of the other things you can say, well, that happens to everybody. But when you go down to sold unto your enemies, yeah, I know the Moors don't believe, or some of the Moors don't believe that we were brought here in slave ships or we were already here. But there are people who also believe that we were brought here. So to the people that believe that we were, this is one of their selling points. We were sold unto our enemies as slaves, and no man was ever saying, you know what? I'm going to pay you $5 billion to get them out of slavery. Or I'm going to pay it in blood, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. Nah. You went from slave owner to slave owner to slave owner to working for these slave owners. It went from legal slavery to illegal slavery back to legal slavery. The only difference is now you can be a white man and if you don't get yourself together, you're going to be working right next to those black men for $15 an hour for the rest of your years. So you actually caught up in the bondage and the slavery now. So it became more inclusive and more elusive. I'm getting my Umar on. So no man shall buy you. You shall not be free. If you look at everything that happens in this world, we don't get the slap on the wrist like others. Yeah, that's a real thing. People die for stealing candy bars. People die with their hands up. People die pulling out their wallet. People die in front of their kids. People die with the cameras rolling. People die with their wives right there crying. Women die. Men die. Not just black, but for this conversation, that's what we're talking about. And by the way, black is a color, white is a color. But white was also leprosy in biblical terms. And nobody was called black. You may have heard the term dark, but we were nationalities, we were heritages, we were lineages. We weren't black, white, yellow, brown, orange. They may describe you, but that wasn't your heritage or your nationality. So Deuteronomy, this is what my black brothers and sisters, my Hebrew brothers and sisters, my Israelite brothers and sisters will tell you. Deuteronomy 28 is one of the biggest debates, one of the biggest debate materials that we will have for stating our claim as being those chosen people. Now, if you read Deuteronomy or any of those books from the Torah or the 5 books of Moses or any of the books from the OT, you will notice that Israelite people were very hard-headed. They didn't believe, like they would always get bailed out, but they wouldn't believe. They get bailed out, worship another God, get bailed out, start crying and saying God ain't doing what he's supposed to. Get bailed out and say, why didn't we die? We could have died in Egypt. Get bailed out and then be like, what's going on here? Like, what are we doing? Like, there was always questions. There was always these things. And the creator said, you know what? These are evil people. So I'll be like, wow, I don't really hear too much of that when it comes to, you know, my Israelite fam. There are certain passages that I don't hear. But what I will say, if you ask me, do I believe if the African Americans are the chosen people? I would say that there is a lot of evidence that supports both theories. There is a lot of evidence that supports the Jewish community for being the chosen people. Now, whether they doctored that evidence, whether they came into existing by usurping someone else, that's for you to find out. I do know that Jewish community, they own a lot of stuff. They own media, you know, all of the big radio stations, big television stations. You know, you can't see a black entertainer without some Jewish person right there. That's fact. You can get mad at me. You can cancel me. I'm just saying that's fact. The people that's up at the top are not us. So I would say there's evidence for African Americans being the chosen people. Now, when you talk to most people, they're going to say, well, Israel wasn't here, or Israel wasn't stated here, or you saying that they're the chosen people, but they're not Israel, or they're not the Jews, or they're not this, they're not that. But see, you have to do a different type of digging. If you don't know what Negro land is, or the kingdom of Judah, or how these things were split up supposedly in our teaching, and I'm not talking about Israelite, I'm talking about just teaching, period. One of the people I listen to is Pastor Stephen Darby. So for me, I think I'm trying to find the ultimate truth as opposed to what truth makes me feel good or what makes me feel better. Just like a lot of the words that we use, they come from Greek terms, they come from Latin terms, they come from Jewish terms. So even down to my brothers with the Hebrew, the Yiddish Hebrew, the Paleo Hebrew, all of the Bibles, all the different things that we deal with, you do have to take a step back and say, who gave us this? Who wrote this? Who showed us this? This to me is just a discussion of Deuteronomy, the description of Deuteronomy as to why African Americans believe that they are the Hebrews or they are the chosen. Now, I am in no way, shape, or form one of those real big, super scholar, extraterrestrial, supernatural Israelite brothers that, know everything. I'm just a normal man I've went through the Pentecostal church. I've went through the Apostolic. I've went through the Baptist. I've studied with some Israelite brothers. I've studied with some Christian people. I've detached from all of the religions in the midst of that. I've seen some stuff that was good. I've seen some stuff that was bad. I even learned some stuff from Pastor Mello and then learned that he got some stuff going on too. So I've learned from Africans. I've learned some Kikongo. I've studied. I've studied the many different religions. I've learned a little bit about Taoism. I've learned a little bit about Shintoism, and I've learned about the Kemetic brothers, the Hoteps. I've studied some different things, but I don't try to discredit anybody from what they're doing. All I'm saying is this is one of the reasons why people believe that they are the chosen when it comes to Deuteronomy. They will put these scriptures up, and I'm just trying to give you a little bit of clarity on why they believe that. So this your boy Hally. This is basically a part 1. I know I'm going to do another part to it. And, we're talking about Deuteronomy 28. We went from 64 all the way to 68. It's Deuteronomy chapter 28. And we went through verse 64 through verse 68. So you can read that for yourself. You can agree, you can disagree. I'm still going to love you. I'm still going to pray for you. It is what it is. It's your boy Hally. It's GVG Podcast. We love all of y'all. It's episodes every Thursday. I love my Israelite people. I love my Jewish people. I love, everybody out here in this world. I know that to be an enemy of the world is to love God. And to be an enemy of God is to love the world. So, but the Bible also says, pray for thine enemy. So I'm saying that in the sense of being a human being. And being the sense of a human being, I love humans. I love us as people, but, the discernment is real. I can love you, but not love your ways. So I'm going to pray for my enemies. I'm going to pray for the saints. I'm going to pray for the Israelites. I'm going to pray for the Christians. I'm going to pray for the sick and oppressed. I'm going to pray for everybody. I love all of y'all. It's your boy, Hally, GVG Podcast. Until next time, we out. We'll see you.
Thank you for being a part of this experience. GVG appreciates every single one of you. I hope you came away from this video with a little more perspective, patience, understanding, and purpose. So until next time, we on Christ time.